This is Chris Evans. Chris keeps America working every day at his metal fabrication shop in Portland, Oregon. Chris also keeps America racing by building his own fleet of race cars that run all over this great land. And if you've got the desire, commitment, and the guts, you can drive in the Great American Stockcar Series. All you have to do is give it the gas.
When I'm a man of steel, rocking out my thrills, got a hot gas fire burning under my wheels. I'm a wild one. Ooh, I'm a wild one. I'm headed for the check and don't you cramp my style, cause I'm a living legend rocking on the real wild time.
Swift Fuel presents the Great American Stockcar Series. Brought to you by Joe Gibbs Driven Racing Oil. Visit us today at joegibbsdriven.com. And by American Lodge and Suites of Newton, Iowa, America's place to stay. Check us out at american.com. Season 4 for the Great American Stockcar Series and the high-speed fleet of American Steel descend upon the heartland to do battle on the newest and one of the most state-of-the-art motorsports facilities in the country, the Iowa Speedway. These traditional V8-powered stock cars harken back to the glory days of American racing and the classic rivalries of Ford, Chevy, and Dodge. Hand-built in Portland, Oregon by Chris Evans and his team of metal fabricators, the cars and the series are a culmination of one man's desire to provide America the opportunity to experience the thrill of professional stock car racing. But this is not a development series for young drivers. In order to race here, you must be at least 45 years old, show previous racing experience, or qualify through one of the GASS instructional driving schools. For Chris Evans, this is the ultimate fulfillment of the American dream for himself and others like him.
We've taken some components from various experiences of my own and sculpted a series built on fan-friendly activity, but mostly for older guys. Running around at 45 or 50 years old, it's pretty difficult to start out in something like stock cars on a professional type of level. No one's going to sponsor a 50-year-old guy, so you're going to do it out of your hip pocket or your business. The institutions that we tried each had their positive attributes, but for the most part, you spent a lot of money and get very little track time.
Not the case here, as the GASS team of drivers are a diverse group of men and women who have achieved a certain level of success in their lives and now experience professional stock car racing on their own terms and budgets.
For anybody out there who wish they could sit in an actual stock car, feel what it feels like to get out on the track and do what everybody else does, whether it be NASCAR or the Truck Series, this is the next closest thing. I mean, you are driving at speeds just as quick as anybody else does at Iowa Speedway.
I've raced virtually every kind of racing there is. I started out in open wheel with Formula Fords. American Le Mans was the most recent thing. Inexperienced drivers will have a quicker learning curve and learn more than they would on their own, worrying about buying a car, keeping the maintenance on the car. And then an experienced driver can just step in and just have a blast right off the bat.
We took a component out of IROC, we took a component out of NASCAR, and we took some components out of some of the generic sanctioning bodies for amateur stock car guys. Put them all together into a package that I wanted to do, which was, race stock cars, and that's our foundation.
It is just amazing to have the setup and the amount of cars and the quality of cars that they have here. You can travel throughout the country and look at driving schools, any of them. This is as good as it gets.
But when you have an opportunity to take a first-class, late-model stock car around a first-class facility like Iowa Speedway, and you can literally arrive with your driver's suit and helmet and drive that race car in a real race, that has got some snap. I mean, that's going to make a guy sit up and pay attention. That is going to open up the marketplace for new race car drivers who ordinarily might not have ever, other than in their mind, had anything to do with driving in a major motorsports event.
Coming up, the cars of the Great American Stockcar Series.
Don't you cramp my style, I'm a real wild child.
Swift Fuel's Great American Stockcar Series is brought to you by Scorpion Racing Products. For the ultimate in high-performance parts, log on to ScorpionRacingProducts.com. And by the Rockabilly Legends. They called it Rockabilly long before they called it rock and roll. The cars of the Great American Stockcar Series are designed by Chris Evans and Series Technical Director Brad Schaefer. The perimeter-framed chassis are custom fabricated at the Portland facility, with the base design mimicking specifications of the late-model road course and oval series cars that campaigned across the country just a few years ago.
We have a purpose-built chassis that we designed. The drivetrain components are all shelf technology, and the engines we run Ford, Dodge, and Chevrolet.
We picked the best stuff that we can buy without having to have it all custom made. With this amount of cars, we need shelf technology.
And pretty cool parts, actually. We start basically with a block, and we have engine builders that put in aftermarket parts, cylinder heads, intakes. We're carbureted. They're all dynoed within 10 or 15 horsepower of each other, and then we run just a shade north of 400 horse.
With relatively close horsepower to weight ratios, the GASS cars top out at around 140 miles per hour down the backstretch here at the Iowa Speedway. And the performance comparison to the bigger horsepower, heavier race cars running in many of the National Series is quite remarkable.
These things have got about 425 horsepower. The ARCA cars have got in the mid 800s. But having said that, we'll go around this racetrack within about a second a lap of what the ARCA cars can run. And the Camping World East-West NASCAR cars that race here are only about 2 or 3 tenths faster than we run, and those are great race cars. So these are very, very good race cars.
While the majority of the races this season take place in the 7/8 Super Oval at the Iowa Speedway, the series will head mid-year to the Portland International Raceway in Oregon and the 2-mile road course for which the cars were originally designed.
They're primarily a road course car converted for oval track, so they're very easy to do both. On the road course, they shine even a little bit better. It's not uncommon for our cars to go out and take on a Ferrari or a Vet and, you know, just roll over them like they were stopped.
When we first started, we were competitively racing in other series, and we optimized the cars quite a bit, so we learned a lot about road coursing stock cars. A typical oval track car would be biased to the left. Everything is offset to the left side of the car. We built these straight up so that they could do left and right turns easily on the road courses and still be able to maneuver around an oval with a couple of minor changes.
In addition to the state-of-the-art performance design, Chris and Brad have spared no expense in ensuring the structural safety of each car.
Our tube chassis have the same structural requirements as what NASCAR requires, SCCA, and some of the other series as well.
The whole roll cage of these cars is built just like NASCAR spec, 095 steel tubing, no chromoly or any of that kind of stuff.
Our other safety features are all the netting, padded steering wheels. We have an in-car fire system. We have helmets, Hans device, fire suits. We always have fire and safety personnel with medical technicians on every one of our events. So effectively, you're really safe in one of these cars.
The primary concern for driver safety extends to the race itself, as all of the procedures currently employed by the major sanctioning bodies are in place here. Series co-director Barney Bouchard coordinates the varied support personnel needed to orchestrate this high-speed ballet.
And making sure we got the right people, buckling people in, got the right people on pit road, and then pairing the spotters up with the drivers.
The GASS team of trained spotters are an integral part of the series, communicating with each driver as a second pair of eyes during the race.
We'll have one spotter for each driver, and they'll be on top of the command center, which you've got a really good view of the entire track from up there.
While the series features such professional drivers as Larry Clement, the 9-time national champion ARCA Series car owner, and former Winston West competitor Kevin Culver, many in the field got their start in the GASS driving schools.
The difference between the GASS driving school and the more traditional approach is we focus our efforts on racer prep. We put a lot of emphasis on the final result, which is actually getting in a car and taking a green flag. That's probably why we have a little bit better rating from the people I've talked to than perhaps the other groups do.
Right from the very beginning, you're instantly in the car, and there's very little prep work involved aside from some of the very basic safety stuff. You get right at it. It's pretty intense.
You learn fast. A lot of these guys are real experienced drivers. Never once got out of the car where they didn't come over to me and say, "Hey, Larry, why don't you try this, do that?" So that was, as far as learning, it's mostly these guys that'll move you right along at a real rapid pace.
Stay with us as we join the GASS fans on a joyride.
Don't you grab my style, I'm a real wild child.
Swift Fuel's Great American Stockcar Series is brought to you by 5 Star Race Car Bodies, the nation's leading producer of quality race car body components. Visit us today at 5starbodies.com. And by Swift Fuel, racing to fuel the planet. And by the Rockabilly Legends. They called it Rockabilly long before they called it rock and roll. What makes the Great American Stock Car Series unique over more traditional racing series is the opportunity afforded to anyone who has always dreamed of piloting a high-performance race car on world-class tracks. In addition to wheel-to-wheel action and the thrill of chasing a national championship, the series also provides opportunities for corporations to treat customers and employees to an exciting alternative to other more traditional outings.
Our corporate activities offer a great value to our customer in the sense that we have a higher level of energy as opposed to the fishing trip in Cabo or, the company golf tournament, which are all good events as well. It's just the uniqueness of motorsports brings, quite a little bit higher level of energy, but that high level of energy oftentimes translates into bottom line sales.
Not only did I know Bass Pro has the same customer as that NASCAR customer, but I found out real quick that in the state of Iowa, we're just as big a racing fan, whether it be dirt track, asphalt, than anybody out there. Not just on an individual level, but a business level. A lot of different businesses, they go to the races all the weekends, and they have just as much fun driving the cars or riding in the cars as we do.
Corporate days are just really a lot of fun. It's almost like a motorsports picnic. We've got, usually a catered lunch. We have driving experiences, and it's a lot of fun for clients in the sense that they get to actually drive the same car they watch on TV racing.
It was amazing. It was once in a lifetime. I've flown in and a lot of aircraft, and that by far and away beat them all. So that was great.
The ability to provide customers with a truly unique personal experience and an opportunity to solidify the business relationship is what draws many of the country's top corporations to the Great American Stock Car Series.
The Napa Corporation recently did a regional event with us where they had a field of 40 participants, and from last year's popularity, 75 or 80 showed up. And their event started with a half-a-day event, and now it's blossomed out into a 2-day event. So I know that our stuff is applicable, in the boardroom.
The excitement generated for participants during corporate event days also carries over to race weekends, where fans can sign up to ride along with the series drivers. Here, everyone has a chance to experience the high-speed world of professional stock car racing.
Just never been in a stock car before, so it'll be a trip.
Well, my dad got it for my 16th birthday back in October, and it's been raining ever since, so this is like the only day that we could do it. So that's why I'm here. And I kind of like going fast, like I do in my own car. That's why I end up at Barney's Wrecker and Crane all the time, because I total my cars. So.
All GASS cars are fitted with a right-side racing seat, and riders gear up with a regulation fire suit, helmet, gloves, and Hans device.
Now remember, my car didn't have any scratches on it, so we're good.
Once strapped in with a 5-point harness, they're now set for the ride of their lives. And, as always, the reaction is the same.
Amazing! I loved every minute of it. It was
amazing. It was awesome. I can't even explain it any other way than that. I don't think I could drive like that. It's too scary. Oh, I'd definitely go back. I'd take it anywhere.
Coming up next, the drivers of the Great American Stockcar Series.
Don't you cramp my style, I'm a real wild child.
Swift Fuel's Great American Stockcar Series is brought to you by Jericho Performance Products. Champions use Jericho. Visit us today at jerichoperformance.com. And by Swift Fuel, racing to fuel the planet. And by the Rockabilly Legends. They called it Rockabilly long before they called it rock and roll. The GASS crew has been in Iowa for over a month, preparing the cars in a 21,000 square foot shop within the shadow of the Speedway. It's a logistical challenge to transport 22 race cars halfway across the country, set up facilities for prepping the fleet, and getting everything ready in time.
Okay, boys, we got less than a month. We're 2 weeks behind, and we need to put the pedal down. I know we have some body work that we got to get done, engine swaps, header swaps, setups, maintenance, bolting, nutting, and a lot of painting.
We did some recalculating this morning, and we originally thought we were a week or two behind, but it's probably looking more like 3 weeks. We should have been here a month ago. Got to get a flow going. That's the biggest thing. Once we get a flow going, things will happen real quick.
I think we've had a good contingency plan to deal with it, and so we're going to get through it.
With the production line routine that we have, one guy will go from car to car to car doing his thing, and another guy will come right behind him and do his thing, and they all end up done at the same time.
With military-like precision, the crew completes every detail and readies the fleet for its final transfer to the Speedway.
We've spent 3 weeks working on the cars. Now we got to get them all to the track. Tomorrow we have a practice session. Got to get 22 cars and 5 trucks. Everything's got to stay somewhat organized. And when we get there, we'll unload everything, get all the tires staged so they're ready to go for tomorrow morning.
It's only a short drive to the Speedway from the race shop. But when it's all complete, the GASS crew have put in a 12-hour day. It's been a long winter season in Iowa, and the drivers are anxious to get back on the track for the first time this season. But spring weather can be fickle here, and as a storm front rolls in, 18 drivers wait to put their cars and themselves to the test.
Our only one. If we have a rain out, then we'll just move to the next race weekend and run dual events. If we have a rain out, then we'll just move to the next race weekend and run dual events.
The next weekend may be an option, but these guys want to race today. They're ready now.
Extra drama, extra challenge.
Drivers in the Great American Stockcar Series are a diverse group from all across the country. And while some are former professional racers, many here took their first ride in a stock car only a short while ago.
I think there's a little more learning for me on circle. I think I'm a lot more accomplished road racer. I like that. That's where I was taught. But no, I think I can give them a run for their money for sure.
This is my first time on an oval in a race car, and it's all about trusting the car that is going to stick going into these bank turns. And it's just going to take some laps to figure it out, and it might not be this weekend, but I'll figure it out.
There's some really good drivers out there. These guys, some of them have got a lot of experience, and it was amazing last year how much better the drivers got that weren't as experienced. Some are road racers, but they're getting this racetrack figured out.
I've been in NASCAR about for the last 20-some years. I've worked with Richard Petty for about 10 and a half and was very blessed to work at RCR with Dale Earnhardt for a while. And originally from the Midwest, decided to come on back home. So in about 2008, decided to come work for Iowa Speedway and use my NASCAR background to help this track move forward.
Like any professional motorsport, when the green flag drops, the competition on the track is intense. But here, after the race, it's a fraternity where everyone is a part of the program, and friendship and camaraderie remain strong.
It's what makes it enjoyable for me is the the people that I've met and got to know doing this and the experiences that we've had together.
We're all here doing the same thing, and everybody respects everybody, and I guess that's one of the reasons I'm here, because of that.
It's all racing out there when you're on that track, believe me, but afterwards, all fun and games, good to go. Let's do it again next time.
It's definitely something that you really got to look into if you have any kind of need for speed.
As the skies finally start to clear and the track begins to dry, the teams warm up their cars to get ready for the long-awaited practice laps before the race. Join us next week as the cars take to the track for the first race of the 2010 season. If you would like to race in the Great American Stockcar Series or participate in the many corporate and fan ride-along programs offered, log on to GASSTV.com and contact us today.
Well, I'm a man of steel, rocking out my thrills. Got a hot gas fire burning under my wheels. I'm a wild one. Ooh, I'm a wild one. I'm headed for the checker, don't you cramp my style, 'cause I'm a living legend rocking on the